So this is one of the next videos after getting all the data from the Alltech top 500 advocates into some spreadsheets. Those first videos were all about just getting the data from an image, optical character recognizing it, cleaning up the data, and then getting it into a spreadsheet. Now we can actually look at and see what's in that spreadsheet. So let's start with the people list, the top advocate list from Aidan Conley's Alltech list. So this is the spreadsheet. Now, I can do this in Excel, but I'd rather do this in Google Sheets. So I actually moved all this data into Google Sheets, and then that way I can share it with everybody and you can see what I can do with it. So let's go over to Google Sheets. So I'm going to have a folder. I will show the link to the folder that will contain three things. It will contain the original images from Aidan Conley's LinkedIn post. That'll be in this folder right here. I'll shut that down. Then there'll be the spreadsheets that were created and cleaned up and reviewed, and that'll be in this folder. And then I did some additional spreadsheets with the audience.com app, and that'll be in this folder. So we're just going to go to the regular spreadsheets right here, and I'm going to look at the top ag people list. I've already got it up here, and what I've done is, let me get it organized, there we go. What I've done is I've done some quick analysis just to see what the data looks like. So something I thought would be interesting is, how many people are in this list by country, and so you can do what's called a pivot table. You can look at data. What you can do is just say data pivot table, and it will take you through to creating a pivot table. I've already created some, so here's my people by country list. So basically it's go through all the data and categorize all the countries and then tell me how many people are in those countries. And so that's what this tells me. So let me pull this in a bit so you can see what I'm looking at, and I'm going to sort by total followers, and you can see, of course, the U.S. has the most number of people in the list, and Chile is least. So what can you get from this? Well, if you were trying to build a better understanding of what people are interested in terms of agriculture or food and agriculture in some other countries, you're going to see this is a very U.S.-centric list. Maybe you want to start building out lists of people in other countries that you're more interested in following or learning more about. So that would be the first thing here, is understanding where the people are and finding the people that you would like to have on this list. So that's one thing. The other thing from the base data is I was curious about what's the clout score by number of people. So what's this distribution of clout score? So I created another pivot table right here, and it's just the clout score. And it goes from, I think, 0 to 100 or 1 to 100. So these are all the clout scores of everybody on the left, and then the number of people in the people list that correspond to that clout score. So there was one at 71 clout score, and there were two at 70, etc. And then I just created a quick chart within Google Sheets. And since this is sorted, the data is sorted by clout score, highest to lowest, and I created a chart, you're going to see the blue line is highest to lowest right here, and then the number of people in that area is going to be right here. Now I don't know if this tells me anything. I just was curious to see what it looked like, but it's not, it's nothing to me right now. I don't know what it means. Another thing that I was interested in looking at is, what about clout score to followers? Does that have anything that looks interesting? What does it mean to have a higher clout score and lower followers? Is there some sort of correlation? I don't think I can answer that right here in this data, but I did create a chart to at least help with that. And so what I did was I took all the people and I organized them. In this case, the list right now is just sorted. It's the handle, the person's name, the sum of the followers, and the sum of or it's actually the follower count and the clout count for each of those people. And even though it says sum here, it's only going to be one because there's only one Daniel Nurnberg, and she has 247,000 followers, and she had a clout score of 70. And what I did was I created a chart with the followers. That's over here on the right. So it's the followers, and then by the clout score. And so right here. Now, one of the things that was interesting is normally the chart is created, it's called an arithmetic chart, and it would have been super distorted because one of the data points, Danielle, has a very, very large follower count compared to the rest of the people. So instead of doing an arithmetic one, I did a logarithmic scale, and that allows for the data to actually be at least visible, even with Danielle's number way up here in the upper right. The rest of them at least can show up, and you can be it can be visible. Here, I'll show you what it looks like when you don't do this. We'll go here. I double clicked on the chart. I go to the horizontal axis. I'll turn off log scale, and I'll go to the vertical axis, and I'll turn off log scale, and you'll see that all the data just clumps over to the left because Danielle's number is on the far right and just blows everything out of the water. And we'll put it back to the log scale so everybody can see that. And then you can say, okay, can you ask the question, does more followers equal more clout? And I really don't know if this is a good way to do it, because there's so much other stuff that's probably computed in a clout score. Here's a link to it right here. It says cloutscore.com/corp/score. That'll give you more details about how a clout score is calculated. So this is just a couple of quick examples of getting some raw data into a spreadsheet so that you can analyze it and do some better understanding. The one I think is really important is certainly the people by country. If you're trying to build out a better understanding of food and agriculture in other countries, then this list certainly needs to be fleshed out into these other countries. So, if you're interested in what's going on in Chile, one person is, it's one person. You might need like 10 or 15 people, so start building out that list to discover things. I'm going to look at some other analysis tools. One of them will be Tableau Public, and the other one's going to be Google Fusion Tables to help people understand some of the other options for analyzing just some basic data. And then we're also going to jump into the audience.com website app data that I pulled down, because that's got some additional info that might be even more interesting to look at and maybe help answer some questions about your Twitter followers or a list of people on Twitter. That's it.